Hello, grade 6. So today we're going to start a new lesson, which is lesson 4, Sparta and Athens. So first of all, have a look at this map and try to find the Sparta and Athens. So this is Sparta and this is Athens. So the objectives are to describe daily life in Sparta and Athens, to describe the governments of Sparta and Athens, and to explain the organization of the Persian Empire. So let's look at the vocabulary words of this lesson. Halat means slave-like workers owned by the Spartan city-state. Assembly means law-making group. Reform means a change. And majority rule means every member had one vote, and the idea that received the most votes passed. Fable, short story that uses animal in it to teach a lesson, and leaf is a group of allies. So now let's discuss the Sparta's government. So the city-state of Sparta was located on a fertile plain of the Peloponnesus. Sparta's inland location separated it from the sea and other city-states. Even so, during the 600 BC, Sparta became the most powerful city-state of the Peloponnesus. The Sparta's descendants of the Trojans proudly conquered their neighbors. The Spartan government then forced the conquered people to be helots. In time, the helot population of Sparta became huge. Sparta may have had 4 or more helots for every citizen. Outnumbered, the Spartans constantly feared that the helots would rebel, and to stay safe, they prepared to fight against the helots and Sparta's enemy. So the Spartans lived a military life. The Spartans developed an unusual form of government. In times of war, 2 kings ruled, and each from a different royal family. These kings shared authority to decide issues related to war, and in times of peace, an oligarchy made up of 30 elders over the age of 60 ruled Sparta. They proposed new laws to an assembly, and the assembly was made up of adult male citizens of Sparta, and it mainly approved laws proposed by the elders and elected 5 wealthy landowners called Ifros, and to handle day-to-day governance. Although the assembly was important, the elders and the Ifros held the real power in Sparta. So now let's see how life in Sparta was. So from an early age, Spartans learned to be strong and disciplined. At the age of 7, boys were sent to live in a training campus to get a Spartan education. At the training campus, boys lived and ate together in barracks, and every day they practiced gymnastics, wrestling, and military exercises. They learned to accept hardship without complaint and to obey orders without questions. At the age of 18, young men began 4 years of formal military training so that they could serve as soldiers. Spartan girls trained to be strong but did not serve in the military. Like boys, they exercised outdoor daily. However, raising children would be their main role. Spartan women had more freedom than did women in other Greek city-states. They were highly respected and moved freely around the city. Since the men were often away on military duty, the women managed household and family matters. Spartan leaders feared that new ideas would bring unwanted changes to their society, and because of this, citizens were rarely allowed to travel beyond Sparta, and the trade with outsiders was discouraged. Spartans followed a strict way of life. They dressed and lived plainly and ate simple meals. Today, the word Spartan is used to refer to something that is simple, strict, and highly disciplined. Spartans had a strong sense of honor, and they were trained never to give up in battle. They believed there was no greater act than to die defending their city-state. So new ideas in Athens. So Athens was very different from Sparta. It was located in an excellent harbor of the Aegean Sea. Athens was at the crossroad of the ancient world between Asia Minor, Africa, and Europe. And this location allowed Athens to have many trading partners, and many Athenians grew wealthy from trade. In 683, an oligarchy replaced the monarchy of Athens. Even under the oligarchy, the Athenians continued to live without written rules and laws. Finally, a lawmaker named Draco wrote the first recorded laws for Athens, but these laws were very harsh. And in about 600 BC, the ruling oligarchy faced a crisis. The farmers who supplied Athens with food fell into debt, and many had to sell themselves into slavery to survive. Anger and distrust spread among the poor people of Athens. In 594 BC, a leader named Solon was given the authority to deal with the debt crisis. Solon was a respected leader, known for his fair handling of government and business matters. Solon set out to end the crisis by making reforms, or as we said, changes. First, he cancelled all the debts, then he freed all the Athenians who had sold themselves into slavery, and he also replaced many of Draco's harsh laws with fairer laws. So here, students, are some questions in order to check your understanding of the lesson. So try to answer them, and if you don't know, I'm going to give you the answers shortly. So first of all, you have who took part in governing Sparta and what were their duties. And then you have how were the roles of men and women in Sparta alike and different. Here is another question for you. How did Solon's reforms help ordinary people? This is all for today. Thank you so much for listening.